a lot of the myth around suicide is that if you talk about it, you give people
They'll
ideas.
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
in fact,
that's not true at all.
that's the exact opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the person isn't thinking about it, they're not talking about it. And so if they're already talking about it, they've likely been thinking about it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the myth is that, you know, and this isn't just like in the Vietnamese culture, right? It's not specific to lay community. It's actually, this used to be what people thought in psychology. This used to be what, you know, years ago before the research was available, people thought that if you ask, you're giving people ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just simply not true. You want to, the first recommendation is you ask direct questions. Mm-hmm. And it may sound something like this. I'll give you some examples. So I'll read some off to you, right? It might sound like, I have a feeling that I've been a little concerned about you lately, right? Mm-hmm. How have you been feeling? Or you've been acting a little bit strange. Yeah. Is there something going on with you, right? Are you actually thinking about hurting yourself? Right? Yeah. Or like if someone says to you, well, I feel like dying, are you actually thinking about killing yourself? Right? Mm-hmm. Do you really want to die? So those are all from, you know, easy things to say to a little bit more direct, but asking directly lets the person know that you are listening, and it is also communicating a comfort level to them, that you're not scared to talk about it. The second thing you do is you assess the person's plan. So, you know, let's just say that if you do want to die, have you thought about how you might do that? Again, I'm not giving anybody any ideas, but I'm asking if they have any ideas, right? And let's find out if they have the access to those means. Yeah. So let's just say, you know, I do this a lot when I work with my patients. So I'll say, well, have you thought about how you might do that? The benefit of knowing what plan they have is for me to work with their family and for me to also help them come up with a plan that prevents them access to that. Right. Yeah. Because
some people think that if people, you know, someone who is suicidal would try everything to kill themselves. This is unlikely.
That is not
true.
People
have a preferred plan and a preferred means to die. And if we can counter that, we can maybe take away the knife, take away the means that they are planning to kill themselves. They are much less likely to carry out that plan. So that's very important to remember.
So, because a lot of times when people actually act on a plan is when they're lonely, they're tired, when they're impulsive, right? And so it's not when they're, you know, around people and things are lively. It's when they're alone and they don't have anything else to do, and they're trying to act to take away that pain that they're feeling. But pain actually is temporary and it does go away. And so if you put those things, if you recommend somebody who has, say, handguns, right? If you recommend them lock it away, or put it in somewhere where it's so far to reach, by the time that person climbs up the ladder to the attic, opens the safe, they may have already had enough time to change their mind. Yeah. Or if someone says, well, I want to take all my pills and my pills are in the drawer and on my nightstand, that might be a second. But if I say, well, why don't you put your medications all the way in the garage and lock it up far, right? Then between the 5 minutes between someone thinking about actually carrying out that plan and getting through the letter and all of that, for a depressed person, that might seem like a mountain to climb through. And that might be just enough to defer them from actually carrying out the act. These are three areas. And the last one is intent, right? The last one is intent. And that is you say, well, what time frame or when, or, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you do this? And they may say, oh man, it's just a thought that bugs me, but I'm not going to do it because of these things, my mother, my friends, I don't want to, you know, then you feel a little bit better. But if they say, yeah, I'm thinking I might do it tonight, then that tells you when you need to act.
That's a red flag.
Right.